Hey, good evening and welcome to tonight's DJNTV virtual training night. We're starting tonight off with our virtual exhibit hall, and we're kicking it off with JMaz Lighting, and we've got Victor from JMaz. Good evening, Victor.
Hey guys, how are you? Thanks for tuning in. John, how are you? Good to hear from you and see you once again.
Yeah, it's great to have you on tonight, and you've got some toys with you there tonight. That looks awesome.
Man, I'm telling you, it's ridiculous right now. The things that we've got going on here, it's just crazy. Hands are full, all hands are on deck, all boots are on the ground, so we're busy.
Yeah, it's great that we can be saying those words together. That everything's working. We're busy. Yay! So you've got some really cool things we're going to be taking a look at tonight. But before we get into looking at the specific gear, if people want to find out more information on any of the products you're going to be talking about tonight, where can they go to check these out?
So it's definitely on our website, jmazlighting.com. It is on our social media pages, Instagram, Facebook, Twitter, and definitely on our YouTube channel. Currently, we have some very brief videos about the product that we're going to be showcasing today, which is the VersaFlex bar. And the reason for that is it's because, this is such a complex piece of equipment. Most people will build a wash light, most people will build a light bar, most people will build a moving head. But when you try and put all of those ingredients into one, then you put yourself up against the wall to try and make it happen and not be so complicated for the end user.
Sure.
Once they have it in their hands.
Yeah, and that's a big thing for a lot of us, is to uncomplicate things, because it can get they can get intimidating in that whole realm. And when I saw you guys brought the whole series where you can do and have flexibility, it's like, this is a cool thing for a mobile DJ. Really excited to go through things with you tonight. Okay, so we've got the website. You guys go out there, search JMaz Lighting. It's Instagram and Facebook and YouTube, everywhere. Go out there, like the pages, follow the pages, so you're up on that, because they're going to be dropping new products, throughout the year. And of course, you'll be able to see more videos about the lights we're going to talk about tonight. So Victor, where are we going to start? You got some things in front and the back there. What are we looking at?
So one of the things I personally like to do is I'd like to give people, like the 20-foot view. I don't want to get into the weeds of things. So I'd like to give people the entire view. That's why I don't have just one bar set up. I have 3 bars set up. That way people could see how the VersaFlex bar starts when you see it online, and what you get with when you buy the VersaFlex bar, and what it could look like once you start adding different options, different fixtures to it, like the entire line of bar lights that we've built for it. So what we have here in front of me, obviously, don't let this iPad confuse you. This is just to give you a perspective of this particular bar here. That's just an iPad. But the bar itself is an RGB wash, strobe, and beam all in one. So it has the outer lights that are RGB. Mm-hmm. It has a cool white strobe lights in the center. And it also has the warm white beams built into the bar. And it's prefabricated with 2 25-watt moving heads that include gobos, and it includes a color wheel as well. So that's what you're getting when you're looking at the VersaFlex bar. And what I have here behind me is what it could look like once it's fully dressed. Mm-hmm. So it's the VersaFlex bar. And then here we have the Quad 19 added onto them at the top. And then we have the Dual 324s right down here. And then on this one here is the Tron 7s. And these are the Tri 220s, 220 surface mount diodes. They're all RGB. And the reason for showing you your viewers 1, 2, and 3 here, it's because there is currently 1 option, 2 options, 3 options, and 4 options as far as expandability goes, as far as the flexibility of the VersaFlex bar. So that's what we have here. We have the VersaFlex bar as a base model, the way it comes, prefabricated. And we have 2 fully dressed versions behind me, each one showcasing 2 on each of the 4 options currently available, so that the end user can dress it up however they like.
So one question right immediately is that, let's say I'm looking at, and I like the 19, which is on over your right shoulder there. If Correct. I love those so much, could I have those on the top and the bottom? Or is it like a certain light has to go on top and a certain light has to go on the bottom?
Great answer, John. I'm sorry, great question. You can only have one pair of each. So you couldn't have four of them. You can have only two. Because the way that the VersaFlex bar is set up is that because the way it's built, there's an independent power supply NDMX data port directly on the back of it. When you plug these into the back, you have to tell the VersaFlex bar what you have plugged into unit 1, which is the top, and what you have plugged into unit 2, which is on the bottom. So once you told the bar that you have the hex 19s on top, then you're telling it that you've already occupied that option. And so then you can't select the same fixture for the bottom. So it has to be two different ones.
Okay, but then so you can mix and match. Could I use any of the other three that you're displaying on the bottom, or are we using more of an RGB type fixture on the bottom?
You can mix and match. For example, this is the Duo 324. This has 324 surface mount LEDs. Half of them are cool white and half of them are warm white. But if you don't want that here, and let's just say you want to take the Tri 220s from this one and put them here with the quad 19s, then you can do that.
Okay.
That's no problem.
Okay. So you can really do a variety of different things. Like right now, the way you have the one over your right shoulder set up is you've got a nice wash light if you wanted to illuminate the dance floor for like a spotlight dance. You can bring up the light to a nice color.
Exactly.
And then, excellent. Okay. Nice. Nice. And then, of course, the one in front now does not have any of the floods, and you can still operate it that way, and it's still going to have the white LEDs that could be brought up for that spotlight dance, and then you've got movement and color that can still happen with the other LEDs.
Exactly.
Nice.
So the cool thing about the VersaFlex Bar 2 is what we've chosen to use as far as remote. It's not an IR remote; it is an RF remote. And for those that are new to remote controls, you know, the IR remote, it's like your old TV remotes where you had to be aiming at the TV in order for it to change channels. Like you couldn't be in the kitchen and lower the volume. You had to go in front of the TV to lower the volume. The VersaFlex bar has the RF remote control, which means you don't have to aim at it. As long as you're within a 30-foot range, then it'll pick up the commands that you're sending it from the remote control.
Nice. And when you have the remote control, is there a different remote control for, say, if you had two exact identical trees, or does it talk to both of them at the same time, or how does that work with remote controls?
So with remote controls, the way the remote pairs to the VersaFlex bar is there's an RF ID, so there's a radio frequency ID that you're going to preset on the bar. So you're going to tell the bar you're going to respond to RF ID number 1, for example. And so the remote has a button labeled ID1. So you press and hold that button, or you press 3 times, and there's going to be a red LED on the back of the VersaFlex bar that's going to tell it, hey, it's been paired. And so that's how you're going to be able to control it. Now, if I have 2 behind me, for example, as long as I have both of them set to the same RFID, then they're both going to respond to the same remote.
Nice. So you've got quick and easy control of 2 of them for...
Exactly.
So before we get into showing the lights and such, packing and storing, how much breakdown is involved with having to take those, especially the back ones where you have the additional lights? Do I have to take everything off to transport, or what's the best way to do that?
Yeah, that's a great question. You do have to take everything off for transport. It does get a little heavy when you have it fully dressed like this, and it could be a big case. If you were to put this thing into, one case, it would just be too big for you to transport. And maybe even for some of our mobile entertainers, that maybe they use, a wagon type of vehicle to transport their equipment, or an SUV. It would be a little big for them to be able to have that flexibility. At that point, it would be like, wow, I wonder if I can tear this thing down and transport it in separate packages.
Yes.
So you do have to take it down. The moving heads do stay on there. They're prefabricated on there.
Okay.
So depending on how you have it mounted, for example, the one in front of me, I have it set up on this totem-like table here. And it has rubber footsies on one side so that you can put it on a tabletop in front of you and do it that way.
Sure.
The other option is if you have it on a T-bar the way it is back here, then what happens is the VersaFlex bar has this bracket that's included in there. And so what you do is you just turn this loose, and then you're able to lift the VersaFlex bar off of your stand, and then you could put it in its travel case. So depending on how you have it set up, right? If you have it on a tabletop, if you have it on a T-bar, then it really depends on how you have it. That's how much disassembling you would have to do. Obviously, we would recommend that you bring this down a little bit, maybe 1 or 2 steps, so that it's easy to access the different power lights that are attached to it. That way you can disconnect them. Once those are off, then the bar, there is a bag, a case that's included with it, that you can put it in there for transporting purposes. As far as moving the power lights around, we don't have a specific bag yet. We'd like to maybe custom fabricate one that you can put all 4 in it. That way you have your power lights in one bag and then your VersaFlex bars in another, and that way it's easier for you to carry both at the same time instead of having to carry this big crate, case, or bag out into your car.
Does the VersaFlex bar, does that come with the light stand, or do you have to use a different one?
That's a great question. It does not come with a stand. I'm going to go into that since you asked the question. So some of the options for the VersaFlex bar are, right, you do have this bracket that's included.
Yeah.
This bracket could be mounted on the top of the VersaFlex bar or on the bottom of the VersaFlex bar, depending upon how you want your moving heads to be placed.
Sure.
So for example, if I have it here in front of me, as you can see, the moving heads are on top. The way I have it behind me, the moving heads are on the bottom on both of the bars. So that's one of the options. You can have it in front of you like this, the way I have it here. If you want to put it on a T-stand, then you would have to use this particular bracket that's included so that you can do that. Or there is also this truss bracket, very similar to what comes fabricated, what comes in the package, like this one here. But except for this one allows you to hang this on a truss, right? Whether it be right here like this. If you have your trussing going on like this, you can hang it from a truss. Other options that we are working on right now is having the ability to maybe fabricate a bracket like this one that allows you to mount the bar vertically, so that you can have the bar here, moving heads on the outside with 2 of the additional power lights on the outside. So that's another bracket that we're currently working on as far as the VersaFlex bar goes, because we want to give end users the options to really customize their look. So that way there's something unique about every mobile entertainer that uses the VersaFlex bar. Some of them might like it, horizontal. Once they see the way it's going to be done vertically, maybe they like that option better. So we just want to be able to give people a true flexibility when it comes to using this particular fixture.
No, I like that. I like that idea, having that flexibility, because there's times where I'm at certain venues and I could see where having a little bit of a different setup would really be advantageous, instead of low ceiling or a weird hanging down softening in front of my stage.
Not enough width, maybe you want to use 2, but you don't have enough width to use them, right, in a horizontal perspective. So you want them vertical. We think outside the box, John. One of the things we do. We think of a lot of our production is done with a psychological thought behind it. It's all from a psychological perspective. What would people like? How would it look? If I was a mobile entertainer, which I was, by the way, I was a mobile entertainer before I got into manufacturing. And there was a lot of times where I found myself needing different things. I found myself thinking, if I had this, if I had that, but unfortunately the market didn't have it for me. So that's kind of what pushed me into manufacturing and being able to come up with all these different things. It was the fact that there was a need in the market. And that's what kind of JMaz is solely built on, is that need that has long been forgotten about. And so that, I guess, is a topic for a different day. Yeah. But again, that's how we manufacture our stuff. It's all from a psychological perspective. I mean, because I see a horizontal bar, and I just think to myself, what if there was an option to mount it vertically? How would that look? And somehow I rig myself up, and then I look at it and I go, that's pretty cool. So now we're thinking, again, a bracket that allows you to mount the bar, right, on a vertical. So imagine having one on the right, having one on the left, and then why not a third one behind me, horizontal. That right there is a light show within itself.
Oh, yeah, that would frame a person in really well. That'd be a lot of fun. A lot of fun indeed.
Yeah.
So let's take a look at some of the capabilities and colors that we're going to be working with.
Yeah.
With VersaFlex.
So initially, when we debuted the bar in Atlantic City last August for DJX's, we saw that it was bright. So when it would turn on, it was just so bright that I thought to myself, how do we dim it down? How do we take this thing step by step, right? So one of the things we thought about is like, okay, what does the light have? And again, it's got the RGB outside LEDs. It has the cool white, the warm whites, and then you have the moving heads. So I was thinking to myself, how do I make this so that if all I want is the RGB LEDs on the outside? And that's when we thought, why not have the RF remote do all of that for you?
Sure.
For example, there's a button on the remote labeled red. There's a button on the remote labeled green, blue, and one that's labeled RGB. Those 4 buttons are strictly for the outside LEDs that are on this bar. So as you can see, I press the red button on the remote, and I have this light show, if you want to call it that. So once the red is on, I have 12 different options to choose from. That's going to change the red light show 12 different ways, the way you could see it on the bar right now, right? So it's going to change the red 12 different ways. So it's going to give me 12 different shows. And it's going to do the same thing for green. It's going to do the same thing for blue. And then I have a stop button in case I want to turn that off. It'll turn off the red. So I'm going to hit the RGB button right now, and it's going to give me this really cool RGB effect. So I have now 12 different options for what I want my RGB to look like. And so that's what that's just, the controls that you have for the outside LEDs. Let's just say I don't want those RGB lights to be on, and all I want is the cool white LEDs on the center of the bar to turn on. There's a button on the remote labeled cool, and that's going to turn on just the cool white LEDs. And we chose the very first show of the cool whites to be this one, which is as dim as it could be, because if we did this with it, then it would probably, blind people the minute it comes on, right? So we didn't want to do this immediately. We wanted to kind of start you off here.
Yeah.
And so now I have 12 different options for what I want my cool whites to look. And so you can choose the way this looks 12 different ways. I'm going to hit the stop button, and it's going to turn that off. The one thing we did do on purpose was the warm white beams that are built into this. We wanted this to kind of just hit you in the face when it comes on. So the warm button on the remote turns on the warm white beams that are built into the bar. And then from there, you can bring it down, right? You can choose 12 different ways that you want this to look. And so these are 12 different built-in presets, if you would call it, that the warm white and every single function has. So I'm going to black that out. Now, if you don't want to have to deal with that, there's an auto function. The auto button turns on your RGBs, turns on your cool whites, turns on the warm whites, and it also turns on the moving heads. But before I get into that, let's talk about the moving heads. Here's a button labeled head. You push it once, and it turns on the 25-watt moving heads. And I'm going to slow them down just for the camera to pick up, right, the movement.
Sure.
So I've slowed them down. So these are 25-watt moving heads. Again, preset number 1 is the default setting. That's where they go when you first press head. And then again, I have 12. That's preset number 2. Now it's going to get into gobo projection, gobo shake, color wheel. So that's preset number 2. And again, I have 12 different ways to choose the way I want these lights to look. If I go through all of them, we'll be here till tomorrow. So then the very next thing is, those are the moving heads. Now the moving heads do come factory loaded with a single facet lens. You're gonna see behind me, these are preloaded with a 3-facet lens. So it'll project that one 3 different ways. So that's this one. And then next, let me black that out. So that's gonna go in standby. The auto button does this. It turns on the bar into its built-in auto show, right? And so there's an auto function, and it'll do this. And you have 12 different ways to choose from what you want your bar to look. And I'm just going through the different presets here on the remote, and it's changing everything. It's changing the moving heads, it's changing the warm whites, it's changing the RGBs. So it's changing everything about the bar, depending on how you want it to look. There's also a sound mode. So if I press the sound button on here, it blacked out. But the minute I hit a beat and go,
it's going to react, yeah.
It's reacting to sound. So it has all of these different things built in. Now that you've seen it this way, I'm going to go ahead and show you the different available options that are up here, unless you have any questions about the way this looks right now.
So how large of a dance floor will one of those cover? Like, just like you have it set up there, how big of an area would you recommend?
So we had a 20 by 20 booth at MEX.
Yeah.
And I think it's a good size, depending on how you position it, right? I think you could do a 20 by 20 dance floor with a couple of these the way they look right now. Maybe something half of that when you have one. But it really depends on where you are. Do you have a stage? There's a lot of factors that can really tell, because I was in our warehouse the other night, and I'm like, let me see how far these things could go as far as projection goes, right? Range. So I had them back there, and I had my meter tape with me, and I have a 25-foot meter tape, and I couldn't go as far as the light was able to go. I mean, I was far out 50 feet, and you could still see the projection up against the far wall, and, that was 50 feet away. And it wasn't completely, dark back there, but I had a meter tape out there, and I could tell you it was no problem for 50 feet for these moving heads to get to. And obviously the wash lights, they will illuminate a dance floor very nicely, so it'll paint it for you. So, if I wanted it to just, maybe a red, for example. Oh, I turned on the wrong ones. Let me turn those off.
That's actually pretty cool to see the two of them sync with one push of a button. That's pretty neat.
Yeah. So I hit the red button. And so let's just say, maybe I got, I don't know, a Valentine's Day theme, and I just want red with white spots. And so this is ultimately, something that I would do. Yeah. And then if I then added maybe, the Quad 19s and the Tron 7s, maybe I can hit unit 1, and I can then give myself a little more effect. There's a little more, right, Valentine's Day theme going on here. Maybe somebody wanted to bring me in for a St. Patrick's Day theme. And so I went ahead and I hit maybe the green, give myself a little bit of this here. Besides that, and then I hit unit 1, and then I give myself, something like this. And then I wanted to come in with the moving heads, or maybe I want the moving heads to have a little color, and so on and so forth. Right?
But you can definitely,
something like this.
You can definitely see how that tri lens makes a difference with the beams.
It expands it. Yeah. Yes, it expands it very nicely. So ultimately, that's what we wanted to do. Again, so that's just where we are as far as this bar goes. Yeah. Nice. But you could cover a decent amount. I mean, you have 25 watts here. I think combined here, you're looking at least 50 to 60 watts combined with the VersaFlex bar itself.
Yeah. Nice. Let's take a look at what kind of connections do we have in the back. I'm going to switch you over to the iPad.
Yeah, let me grab this. Yeah, let me grab this iPad over here, and I'll flip it around. Let's see. So what we have here is directly on the back.
There we are. Yep.
Okay, so here we go. So as you could see, there is 1, 2, and then on the other side we have. Show you this here. So we have 2, and then we have 3 and 4. These 4 connections are specifically for the par lights that you would add to this bar. Okay. And they're labeled fixture 1, 2, 3, and 4. There's a power supply specifically for every light. Whenever the bar detects that you have plugged in something to fixture number 3, there's a red LED right next to it that corresponds to these connections. And there's red LEDs on this side that correspond to these connections. So it has independent power supplies for every light. That's how it has the ability to do the whole thing with a single PowerCon connection. So we've got PowerCon in, power con out. There's an on-off switch on it. It's not gonna turn on immediately when you plug it in.
Mm-hmm.
There's an on-off switch, and then you have the menu display right over here. And there's that red LED that I was telling you about. Once the remote has paired to it, that's how the bar knows that the remote has been paired. And then these are the single facet lenses that I have here, just to kind of show you. But those are the connections behind the bar. There are let me see if you could see it with a little bit of the light in the background. Once it's
yeah, there we go, the mounting holes.
Okay. So there is 4 holes, and that's going to be for your mounting brackets, right? To go right there. And so that's how you attach the mounting bracket to the bar on the top side or on the bottom side, depending upon what you choose to do. So that's ideally the connections on the back. But I mean, a single power con in does the whole thing for you. And then again, you have the power con out if you wanted to run something else that's maybe nearby, maybe a haze machine right at the foot of your stand or right next to you.
Sure.
You have added power supply there for you.
So right next to the power con, am I seeing, is that XLR in and out?
That's DMX in and out, yes. So you have the ability to control this with the RF remote. You have the ability to do an auto show directly off of the menu options, or you could do DMX in and out.
Nice.
You can program your own light shows with this so that it could, it can work with all the DMX software controllers that are in the market right now.
Excellent. Excellent. I'm going to go back to your other camera, so then they can see the iPad again. Oh no, that worked out wonderfully, Victor. Thank you much for showing us that.
Yeah. So ultimately, again, like I was telling you earlier, the way that we have this thing set up is, I mean, there's so many different options. Personally, I like the RGB look on this. It gives you that really cool rainbow effect, and then you add a couple of moving heads to that. It's a really cool show that this thing puts out. And again, there's so many different things to it. There's so many different ways to make it look. People definitely will have the option. So if to this, I wanted to add a little more of a rainbow effect, then I would choose something like this for the Tron 7 and the Quad 19s. So these are let me just go back here and kind of go over these here real quick for you, John. Unit 1 will turn on the parts on top. There's a button on the remote labeled Unit 1. And then remember, you have 12 different ways. So I'm pressing preset number 2 now. It goes to green, number 3, number 4. So these are all static looks, right? If you want to just light up the dance floor, give it a little bit of a wash light in there. And then past preset number 6, once I get into preset number 7, then it goes into the built-in light shows that these lights have. So then we have number 8. And so this is the Quad 19. The cool thing about the Quad 19 that it's not just a regular par light. It has the ability to pixelate itself. So
neat.
The center LED could be one color. The outer ring can be a different color. And obviously everybody knows the Tron 7s, right? We have the yellow honeycomb-like graphic overlay on the face of it. And it could get into, this rainbowy-like effect, right? So that's the Quad 19, and we have the Tron 7. The next 2 options that you have to do with I don't know if this is kind of blinding the lens. Maybe I should move these down a little bit so that you could get a better view of them.
Yeah, they're just really, really bright.
Yeah, so this is a dual 324, and when we came up with these things, at first they would just light up bright, and people were like, whoa, right? So then we go, how do we dim these lights? So with the remote control, the best thing we could do is only light up the rings, which is a really, really nice eye candy. Maybe it's time for father-daughter dance, or maybe the photographer wants just some really cool pictures with some nice eye candy in the background. This is as far as the Dual 324. So this is the warm white ring. This is the cool white ring. And then we could get into different color combinations. So that's going too fast. Let me slow it down for you so that you can catch the effect very nicely. So it's going from the outside ring to the inner ring.
Okay.
Right? And so this is the Dual 324, cool white, warm white. The next one, that's the strobe effect. about to fall on my butt here. So then, and so now we get into, for example, the, let me just do this again. Let's get into the Tri-220s.
Yeah.
This is 220 RGB LEDs that are built into this light. That's preset 1. And again, static colors, right? All the different presets, all the way to number 6. You get all these different static colors. Number 7, then you start getting into this like rainbow effect. So it starts to do this effect where all the LEDs are just kind of shifting color. And it'll do that for, you know, different colors. This, you see the yellow expanding into the red, and it'll just kind of go back in. So that's the Tri-220. We didn't want to just come up with a hard light the way people are used to seeing a power light. We wanted these things to do something different, something modern.
Yeah.
Right? We wanted to have that new era, new age of consumers, right? Because the average mobile entertainer, it's like early 20s, 30s, maybe late 40s. Hey, and why not, right? Some of us that are a little over 40, why not get into this thing as well, right?
Yeah,
we gotta catch up with the times. So that's what we wanted to do.
Okay, Victor, I've got some questions that are lining up here.
Yes, go ahead.
First off, somebody asked, what kind of warranty are with JMaz lighting? They were wondering about warranty.
So all of our products come with a 2-year warranty. One of the cool things that I'd like to tell people about our warranty is that, you know, as long as you bought them from an authorized reseller, you hit us up, you can call us up directly. You don't even have to worry about contacting the reseller. You can call us and contact us directly, and we'll take care of it for you. We'll help you troubleshoot it over the phone. And if it can't be fixed or get it to operate well over the phone, then we will proceed with maybe sending you a prepaid shipping label, save you the hassle of having to go through all that. So there's a 2-year warranty on all of our products.
Nice, nice. Okay. Next question was availability. When are they going to be shipping?
Okay, that's a really good question. So there's a lot of components to the VersaFlex bar. There's the bar, there is the remote control, then there is the carrying case. All three components require different manufacturing sectors. So we have the bars here. The remotes are underway. They should be here within the next couple of days.
Good. Okay.
And the bags are getting prefabricated here locally, local to us here in the City of Industry. So they should be ready to ship all together and ready to go. What are we in now? March, going into April. So I want to say by no later than the end of April, they will be ready to ship. Now, keep in mind, because these things are so popular and everybody, you know, I've yet to hear somebody say, oh, it's cool, but, you know, like most people that look at them, they go, wow, this is really cool.
Yeah.
So because of that, there's a lot of back orders. And so a lot of our current inventory will go to fill in those back orders. So if anybody's looking at buying this or interested in placing an order, I suggest that people should do it sooner than later, because the sooner their order comes in, the sooner one of these bars will have their name on it. I know that we have inventory on the bars here. And like I said, the bags and the remotes are the only 2 things we're waiting on. And we just don't want to get into, we'll send you the bar and we'll get you the bag later. Or we'll send you the bar and we'll get you the bag and the remote later. We want to be able to send it out complete so you can use it the day that you receive it.
So you're ready to roll. Yeah.
Yeah. So because of that, production has been, I don't want to say impossible, but it has been of a challenge with all the things that are going on around the world. You know, everyone from the automotive manufacturers to, you know, in this case, fabric manufacturers that make the cases, you know what I mean? They're having trouble with getting, you know, stuff to be able to fulfill, just like we are having trouble fulfilling people's orders. Everybody else is having trouble fulfilling our orders.
Yeah, for sure.
So you know, but it's there. It's ready to go. Shipping no later than April. Ready to go.
And now the additional lights, the optional lights that are on the top and the bottom, are the availability with those the same?
They are available now.
Perfect.
Yes, those are here. They're in stock. The bars are here in stock. I mean, we have pallets and pallets of them here in stock.
Good.
I just don't want to send it without a bag. I don't want to send it without a remote.
Yeah.
You know, that's my biggest concern. Yeah. And so hopefully, you know, given that the times are tough, people can understand that. and we ask that they work with us in regards to that.
Mm-hmm.
But like I said, the par lights, they're here, they're in stock and ready to go.
That's excellent.
The bags and the remotes has been kind of held back. Recently we had an issue where they couldn't ship stuff with batteries in them because it required additional paperwork, and we're like, send them without the batteries. We'll go to our local Walmart and buy a bunch of Duracell batteries.
Yeah,
here.
Exactly. We can make it. We'll make it work. So.
So, those are the kind of challenges that we've been faced with, but we try and do our best. That way we want to, put our best foot forward and make the best out of it.
Yeah, excellent. Well, Victor, our time is kind of wrapped up here, my friend. Just thank you for the walkthrough. What a great tool for the mobile DJ out there. And I've got people in the chats who have been like, "This is awesome. I'm buying a pair." So.
Yeah, thank you, John. No, I appreciate you having us here. And I know that I mentioned people can go to our social media pages and find out more information about these lights. But you know what? I also want to tell people that we're here. Our phone lines are open. I know if you follow me on Facebook and you want to send me, a direct message, it goes directly to my phone. So I'll be more than happy to do that for you. Any question you might have, feel free to reach out directly. You don't have to go to our social media pages to try and find an answer. If you're looking for an answer quicker than that, you can always reach out to us. We're here, and we're more than happy to talk to you and go over any question you might have.
Excellent. Again, you guys can go out to JMaz Lighting, JMaz Lighting.com, and you'll find all that contact information, and you'll be able to find out more about the VersaFlex bar there. Victor, thanks again for coming on.
Thank you, guys. Have a great day.
All right, gang, we're going to be back in just a couple of minutes with Perfect Portals. Hey, we're back for our DJNTV training night, and this is our virtual exhibit hall time where we get to meet some of the sponsors, those people who make it possible for us to do what we do here on DJNTV. And up next, we've got the crew from Perfect Portals. Good evening.
Hey, John.
Good job.
There we go. I was going to say, I think both your mics are on.
Yeah.
There we go. We've got Keith and Karen here from Perfect Portals, and for those of you who haven't done anything with your business when it comes to connecting with your clients and working with them with a CRM, they are the ones who take that to another level when you're working with specifically DJ Event Planner, who is also one of our big sponsors. And if you have never looked at one of those systems and you're busy writing things down on little scraps of paper and then you lose the paper or you have confusion, whatever in your life, CRMs help that, and then they take that to another level. And I asked them to come in tonight and kind of show us what kind of things they can do to take it from cool to really cool. So, who's gonna share? Who's gonna walk us through? And
Okay, so I guess what we'll do is sort of start things off with, we're called perfect portals because that's kind of where we started. Now, to me, a portal is the whole enchilada. It's the whole system all together. But in reality, I mean, we started with doing all the client portal in DJEP. That was where we felt that it needed to have some customization so people could really make that space that you're sending your clients into look more like their business and their branding.
Mm-hmm.
So we figured out how to edit the style sheets and things that are what that look is based on. And Keith and I worked together. He was more coding and I was all the graphic design end of stuff. So then we could look at someone's website and say, yeah, okay, we can match up all these different elements and then show you what that's going to look like, so that now your customer is going to be like, from the website to the client portal, they're going to feel like they're kind of in the same place.
Now, you mentioned style sheets, and how much of that type of information am I going to need to know when I come to you and say, hey, can you help me make my pages look better and make this work and look a lot better? Do I need to have a ton of tech, or is that something you can deal with?
You need to have zero tech.
I like
that's our job.
I like that.
So the whole thing of coming to perfect portals is that you can sign on with DJ Event Planner, and it's a super powerful system. It does all kinds of things, and DJs love this platform. But if you really want to be able to utilize it within your own business and have it branded to you and have it really working for you, so that you're not going to be having to sit there and figure out what are all the questions that I'm going to ask on my planning forms, and how am I going to figure out what emails I need to send, and following up with the client, and reaching out to them even after the event and stuff, and thanking them, and sort of all the in-betweens, because we don't like to leave clients hanging in between when you've booked them, and then when you're sort of getting all the loose ends straightened up with their pre-wedding interview before their actual wedding day. We like to communicate with them all the way through, so they feel like they're super connected with their DJ. So there's a lot of content within our system. You're talking like 200 emails between weddings and events that run in our system. Most of it being automated with a few breaks here and there for you to be able to handle a few steps. But other than that, it's kind of set it and forget it.
Nice. Excellent.
Which is great, because then you don't have to be sitting there going, oh, I forgot to send that message to that client, or this person's reached out to me because they haven't heard from me in X amount of weeks. And now they're like, where are you and what are we doing with things, or they have questions and stuff. A lot of the system will look after things along the way, because it's quite honestly full of content. So we've built it up, so there isn't really a whole lot that you have to do in there once you have our system. Nice.
Automation is such a great tool.
Well, because this is automation plus content.
Nice.
So you're getting both ends of the spectrum. So I mean, although it's amazing to have automated emails, but if you have professionally written content and places for those clients where you're sending them information about what they could be doing this month, how you're going to upsell them on something, maybe they didn't book you for the Dancing on a Cloud. Maybe they need to know about some of the other things that you offer, and that, you do photo booths, and, are you interested in this? And you could be doing this or that. There's lots of ideas and things within our system that are really just suggestions on making their events more interesting and stuff as well. Yeah.
Excellent. Well, can you take us in and show us a few things about how...
Keith, do you want to bring up the some of the portals?
All right. So, like all of us, branding, for those that don't know and haven't watched any of the DJNTV stuff, John and his Goonies always talk about branding, and there's for good reason.
Goonies. Going back to the 80s, folks.
Yes, he just aged himself right there.
I did, really, and I'm older than him, so that's pretty sad.
What it was we're talking with the other Keith at Marquis, and he was bringing up the 80s, so we're talking about
so we're kind of in that mindset.
You're in the mindset,
yeah.
Oh, funny.
That. But, we understand that, and most of us understand branding. If you don't know anything about branding, you really got to get it with it, because branding is going to help you stand out for your competition and also look professional, right? So you can't look like If you drew it up yourself or had your kid draw it up, or don't use paint. Like, go to see somebody. If you're using the program called Paint, you might.
I don't know that anyone's using paint.
Again, you're aging yourself.
It might be that might be a bit of a stretch. I think what he's trying to get across is that if it's not a skill set that you possess,
yes, yep,
then it's good to seek somebody out that can do that for you. Because most people want their website and, wherever they're sending their clients and everything that you're putting in front of your customers to look professional.
And when you go from a website like this that looks nice and this is one of our clients here, Mixed Up Productions, and we go to their client portal now, it's going to look proper, right? So we got a nice video in the background here. We kind of slightly opaqued the background so that you can still see the image behind it, but you can still read all the text there. We're keeping with the fonts. The branding is all his colors there, the fonts as well. We've got the rounded corners, and then Karen went all out and even created these new icons to match with his brand.
Nice.
That you'll see throughout with anything that Karen touches. She's just amazing at taking your brand and really excelling at making it yours. So we're just showing you, like, this can all be done within DJEP to make it look good. Right from the images that pop up here.
That's the difference with DJEP, is that I don't know that anybody understands exactly just how customizable it is if you know how to do it.
Right, if you know how to do it, yeah.
It is super customizable. And that's the nice thing, is that you can, hire someone like Perfect Portals to come in here and do this for you, because it's open on the back end that you can actually do this kind of stuff with it, whereas a lot of CRMs don't give you that flexibility.
Karen, now just hang on. Hey, keep hang on 1 second. Karen, when you guys have gone through and done this for people, and what kind of a response when they've now been using it and their clients are using it? I mean, I'm sure you guys are getting some feedback on this of people saying, "Wow, this has made a big difference."
We literally have, actually, it's this particular client, Jam and DJs, and John is just, he doesn't have enough amazing things to say about what we did with his system. Just the fact that he had the email system in place, the way that we've set it up, he ended up within, I think it was a day or two of us putting his system live, he had a bride that had forgotten to reach out to him, that her wedding was actually canceled, and the wedding was off, and she was actually with someone else, and she had neglected to let him know. And because it was still within the countdown emails that we have, it was then her trigger to go, I forgot to reach out to the DJ. I should probably let him know that this is no longer happening. And if there weren't those communication pieces in between, there may not have been any trigger, and he would have been literally a few weeks from her wedding trying to set up, his final meeting with her, and he probably wouldn't have been able to get another event that day.
Yeah, for sure.
But because he had the communication pieces and stuff in between that were going out to the client, that triggered the client to contact him, let him know, and then he was able to book another event on that day because he had enough time. Sure,
nice. It's always nice.
He also ended up hearing from a venue that week, I believe, as well. And because we send information not only out to, the clients, but we also send stuff out to the vendors and stuff as well, and not just, thanks and stay in touch at the end, but also introducing yourself earlier on in the process, so that they know who you are. They know that you need to connect with them. So if they need anything, you're on top of it. And he ended up hearing back from a venue that said, "Hey, I got your email that said that you're going to be DJing, for this event. And did you know that the clients changed the date?"
Oh, no.
Right? Because again, I don't know why, but people think of the DJ as the last thing. So, it could be a situation there where they okay, I've done this, I've done that, but then they don't think about the music.
Sure.
So to have things that be able to get people to get back to you, I think is really essential.
Mm-hmm. So what are we looking at here as you're rolling through here?
So this is actually another client of ours, who actually, it's not a DJ. They are actually a band, and they manage a bunch of other bands as well. So they were also a user of DJ Event Planner and came to us going, we want this to look better because we love our website, but we want something that matches it. And when they found out that we could do this, they came to us not only for their client portal, so now they got a nice video running in the background of, actual entertainment happening with their band, but we also did all their planning forms for them and stuff as well.
And basically, then again, keeping the logo, the look, the colors across the board,
everything. So we pull all those elements out of what they're doing in their website and then match everything up. So, I mean, the thing is that in the end, I mean, if you've got your clients going in here, they're not just doing their planning, but they're coming here and making payments and everything else. You want them to feel like they're still going to part of your website, like part of what you've got going on the internet.
Oh yeah. And
right? Instead of somewhere completely different, because there's templates and things that are available, but they're not going to be branded to your business.
Precisely. And something that has, in the case of more of an elegant type of a website, you want it to look like an elegant. Yes.
Exactly. You still want that look and feel to carry over into everything else. So, I mean, we do the client portals, but we also, all of our emails are branded. All of the contracts and everything that we create are branded. Everything, like Keith was just showing you, is mobile friendly. So you don't have to have, a separate app on the phone or everything. Everything scales down because we built it all so that it sizes for everything.
So now with what we're looking at, you're taking us through the things that you guys have been able to put together so they're branded to look like, in this case, Bill Herman's. How much of that information did Bill need to get to you, or any of the companies get to you, and how much of it was things that you were able to generate and put together?
So basically what we usually ask the client is send us a copy of your contract so we can put your terms and conditions in. Matching it up to their colors, we pull all that information right from their website. The client doesn't need to do a thing. Everything else is really just, what information do you want in your signature? Send us a background image for your client portal or a video. And we need your headshot, and we need your logo in whatever formats you have it in, the light, the dark, however it's going to need to show up based on the way you have it on your website. And then how we need to put it into emails. And that's pretty much it. So it's not a whole lot of information that our clients have to sort of put together. We give them literally the list of, these are the bits and pieces that we need from you.
Nice.
And there's not a lot of them. And it's really just, what places do they need to find you for social media? How do they call you? If there's an office address, and then there's stuff that we put into the emails at the end that are on a review email that are like, if you'd like to leave us a review, then you can leave them here. So if you have like Google reviews or Wedding Wire or The Knot or any of those things where you want them to be able to leave reviews, then that all gets built into an email. And the thing is with the emails here and stuff, what we're not showing you here is that there's a lot of connection pieces and stuff that make it really easy for the client. So you're not saying, oh, here's your login and password. And then the client goes, I can't find that email.
Yes.
Or I don't remember what it is. Can you send it to me again? We have a lot of connection pieces built in and stuff so that people don't have to go through all that, because it's already coded into the back end, so it can take them straight into the system without them having to do all that stuff.
Nice.
They'll be sent directly into their portal and stuff. So there's a lot of nice little bits and pieces in here that make it easier for the DJ company that's booking in the events, and then for the clients themselves as well to fill in stuff and and get back to you and everything. It's all wrapped up in kind of a nice little package.
Nice.
Yeah. So what we ended up doing was starting off again with the client portal, making that look as good as we can. That took me about 3 or 4 months to create. So the first rendition of it. And then once I got that kind of figured out, I'm like, okay, now how can we make this done in a way that we can get it done quicker? So then I had to rewrite it again for Karen to be able to take take it on herself and be able to do that, so that I could move on to the other parts of our system, which was going to be forms. So then we started forms, which I've been building forms forever. Karen helped me with that, and then of course Bill Harmon and different people like that, taking all the information that we've gathered from all of the people that we work with and just friends of ours.
We ask for a lot of feedback.
Sure.
From people.
And so now you're not just getting planning forms that just are built by me and Karen with our experience, but you're also getting it a collaboration of all the DJs that you could never dream of even getting a hold of their stuff. Of course, privacy is a big part of it. So we will always ask, hey, that's a cool idea. Is this something that you don't mind us sharing with other people? And if they say yes, go for it. Some of our clients have, and then others are like, you know what, let's not, and let's make that something that I'm going to just use. And I say, yeah, absolutely, not a problem. But so that way you do have, we're not in any means wanting to steal from you guys. It's if you want to provide it, great. If not, if it's your secret sauce, by all means, we're not going to give out that recipe.
Sure.
So it allows us, though, to be able to bring a wide variety of things. And we're working with people all the time, so there's always times that we are advancing stuff. In fact, for anybody that's tried booking on a Friday, you'll know that Fridays are not able to with us. Unless it's an extreme emergency, we do take Fridays off. So we work Monday through Friday, but we take Fridays off for meetings, and it's just strictly advancing
project management.
So project management, because and this is what I always say, if you're not advancing yourself, you're going to be left behind, and that's with anything you do. So always do your best to don't even worry about competition. Put yourself, make yourself your own competition. If you're on top of the game, that's great. Keep pushing yourself, because the competition can catch up pretty quickly if you don't look at it.
Yeah,
so
and that happens.
That's what I'm always doing. We're always advancing the system. We're taking our feedback, our clients' feedback, and we're always making it better. So.
Excellent. Yeah, I really like that. That if a person, say, was just getting started in some of these planning forms, you have examples and ideas that you can share to help them.
We have it all built up. So we basically say, here's this huge list of questions, anything you could possibly want to ask your client. It's to a ridiculous level. It's like 300 questions in there.
Oh my goodness.
With logic
and
everything
one
built
form,
in.
And then there's
that's one form,
multiple forms,
right? That's just one of the wedding forms. But the whole thing is that you build it up so that you're basically asking everything, and then you say to them, okay, which ones do you like? Which ones are going to work for you in your market? Because not everybody's market is the same.
Yeah.
We do different things here in Canada than we found out that a lot of people do in the States. We don't play the same games. We don't have the same, rituals and things that we do that are part of weddings. So you have to have all these different things put in place so that people can be like, yeah, we don't do that here, so you can take that part out, but we do that, so we'll keep that piece, and some people just like to operate things a little differently. They're used to doing things a certain way, so then we just manipulate the system a little bit so it'll work for them better.
So like a single op, for instance, that might not ask as many questions, and then there's going to be single ops that ask a lot of questions and want to have more of that, even though it's not Bill Harmon, for instance, where he's going to ask a lot of questions out of his clients. He's going to pull that information that, with him, I find that when we're talking with him, he's always talking about wanting to grab as much information from the client, because if you're not asking those questions,
but that's what he does. That's his business. That's the way he markets himself.
And I can see as a multi-system, when I was doing multiple shows, and we were doing, I had some DJs who were more advanced and some that were getting started, but they were still out there doing shows. I could have less questions. They certainly wouldn't need the information Bill Harmon needs. You don't
need, well, that's the thing. You don't need all that in-depth information. So we kind of put it all out there and say, okay, what do you want to see?
Yeah.
But again, they don't have to write up everything. So it's a huge time saver of having to figure out putting all this stuff together, and maybe you're someone who's even been on DJP for years, but you've just been kind of muddling along, trying to figure it out, but you really would like to get it set up so that you could spend more time on other things that you would rather be spending your time on than fiddling with stuff and taking a whole lot of extra steps that you don't have to when your system is all set up and running like the clock for you. So
yeah, it's actually really surprising to see how many people are like, you know what, we got a system here, we've been using them for 10 plus years, they're it's great, we got a system that's really working well for us. And then others that pretty much are at the same thought process, but then they go, you know what, but let's give it a shot and see if it does. And it's surprising how many of them turn around and say, you know what, I'm glad I jumped the gun, because we'll show a fair bit in our meetings sometimes, a little too much sometimes, but we still have so much in the system that is just, we can't show it all. Mm-hmm. We struggle to show everything in an hour meeting with our things. We actually have 3 meetings with our clients, and even that sometimes we're like, I think we might have to go to a 4th meeting because we just have so much content.
Yeah, and you want to,
and we also want to help you, so we'll explain why we have certain questions the way we do and stuff like that, and why it works well for me and my business, or how it works for others and stuff like that. And then it's up to you whether you want to use it or not, but we'll give you advice as well to help build your business up, from marketing to why do we sell this way and stuff like that. So there's a rhyme and reason for why we do things. And, so you get a lot of stuff from Perfect Portals, that's for sure.
So can you kind of go through, if for a person who is looking at this and say, hey, this is something I'm interested in, take me through in the steps for working with you guys, and kind of a timeline of we'll meet, we do this, and by this, X number of days, months in, things will be pretty much up and running.
So basically what happens is, if you want to book in a time with us, you can go to our Facebook page or to our website, which is perfectportals.ca, and you can find the link there to get to our Calendly to book in a Zoom call with us. And then you'll basically be sitting in a 1-hour consultation. Hopefully it only takes an hour. It depends how long Keith wants to talk. And then we sort of go through all of the different things and what the system does and where it's going to be saving them time and making them more money, because they're not going to be fiddling around with things that they don't need to be spending time on.
Sure.
And then we send them the details of, the current sale that we have going on and what they're going to get from all of the different parts of the system. And then we say, and then let us know when you're ready, because most people want to make a decision. It's not a small price tag, so they want to, have a little bit of time to think about it. Mm-hmm. We are not pushy salespeople at all. We know how powerful the system is and how great it's going to work for them, but it's really up to them.
Sure.
If they want to go ahead at that point. And most of them come back and are like, yeah, let's do it. Let's get it all set up. So from that point, basically, we're gathering the information that we need from them, other than what we've already gotten from when they booked their original call. Mm-hmm. We send them out the details of the pieces that they need to get us set up with so that we can start working on their system. They put down their retainer on the project, and then we basically get moving. We do their client portal, and then we start working on their email signature. We have 4 of us that work here at Perfect Portals. So Keith and I manage things, but my daughter Rachel is also involved, and she does all of the email system build up. I do the portals. Keith does all of the connection pieces in the back end, and my brother does forms. Nice. So we're a busy crew here. Mm-hmm. And the process generally is we usually tell people about 3 to 4 weeks. Okay. Sometimes we can get it done a lot faster if we get everything that we need and we get you back into those meetings to review things and approve things and stuff like that. Then it can go a lot faster than 3 to 4 weeks. But we like to give ourselves that little buffer, because sometimes people get busy. Yeah. DJs are busy people, right? Yeah. You're out all weekend, you're prepping in the week and stuff. And sometimes, people have family lives and everything else going on. And sometimes it's just hard to connect. So we get people in as soon as we can. Yeah, we get busy too.
Yeah, every life gets that way.
But it's just really getting into those calls, and we do things in stages. As we finish something, then we get them in, we get them to review it, and then that piece of the system's done. Then we'll do like an email review. And the other thing with our system is that all of your training is included. It's not going to be an extra fee that you're going to have to pay. because the way that we look at it is we don't want to build you a system, put it on there and go, okay,
there you go.
off you go. Have fun. Right.
Right.
The whole thing is that we started this because we're DJs ourselves and we know how precious time is, and you don't want to be wasting it. You know, it's like, how much is your time worth? Well, for me, it's worth quite a bit. So I'd rather not be wasting it, having to fight with things that are just can be done for me.
Mm-hmm.
So having something where they can just kind of leave it and let it do its thing
is so
perfect.
valuable. So valuable.
Right?
I had a question here pop up about changes. If there's changes that need to be made in down the road, is what they said.
So changes down the road. If it's something where they want to actually adjust things in the system, then it's an hourly rate that we charge to make changes, fixes, and things like that, because they want to just do something a little differently. If it's anything that is not working within the system itself, after we've done all the work on it, then we go in and fix it. It doesn't cost a thing.
Sure.
Right?
Sure.
But we do try and get people to work with us to make sure that it's working exactly the way that they need it to, and they make all their changes before we wrap up their project.
Yeah, for sure. Yeah, because it wouldn't look good for anyone if there's
well, and even then, like small changes, like with the client portal, people are like, you know, I don't like the image that I had in there. I just redid my website, you know, and even if all of their colors and all the other things are staying the same, they're like, but I'd like to use a different image because now it doesn't match up anymore. It doesn't look the same. I'm like, send me your image. I'll throw it in. Mm-hmm. We host all of our images and stuff for our clients as well. So you don't have to worry about, if I put this logo here, is it going to show up and all that stuff, because we look after all of it.
Excellent. Mm-hmm. Excellent. Yep, we got some fans in the chat room there that are
awesome. Hi guys.
Yeah. So.
Yeah.
Excellent.
No, it's like I said, it's a huge time saver, and I mean, if you're using something like DJP, the best thing to do is to get it set up so it's working for you and you're not struggling through it.
Oh, another question popped up. Does it work with any other systems, or is it just DJP?
Right
Currently,
now, we're just working within DJP.
Yeah. Okay.
I don't know if that'll change, but we're quite happy with DJ Event Planner. It gives us the most play to customize and stuff like that. Yes, for the average Joe, when they go to DJP, their eyes are like at the very back of their head going, what the heck? What did I get myself into? But that's my playground, man. I want to play in there. And all these other systems that I've seen so far is very limited on customization. We can work and probably transferring some of what we do there, but
it's not to the same degree. I don't think any of the other systems that I've looked at are very much like, you know, your Czech Cherry Honeybook type of things and stuff like that, where you can put a logo in, you can put an image in, and maybe a few other bits, but you're not customizing to the same degree.
Yeah, to really have it look like it fits.
You can in here to really get that true matchup to you know what you got going on your website.
Excellent. Of course, we put the link in there, the perfectportals.ca, where you guys can bounce out there to check things out. And, excellent. Mm-hmm. Well, thank you, Keith and Karen.
No, thanks for having us, John.
It was great to come in to get a chance to talk and have you walk through things in a show like this. This is awesome. So, one question I had is, because we're getting into our busy season, we're coming into summer. Is there a time where if somebody like decided this summer, they're like, hey, I want to update things? Is that possible even during our busy seasons?
Yes, absolutely.
I think so.
Yeah. We have two kinds of people. The ones that plan ahead and go, we're going to get right busy this year, and let's get a system ready and launched before the craziness. And then there's the other one that gets into the heart of it and goes, holy crud, what did I get myself into? Let's get a system going now.
Exactly.
And then we're struggling. Luckily, there's not a lot that we're asking of our clients. It's send us a contract, send us what you need for a signature, and very limited amount of stuff that we need from you. And we make it as seamless as possible. We understand that in the heart of things, you're going to be busy.
Yeah.
And even when you're not, you're still going to have, even in the off hours, you're still going to have your family life. You're still going to have all that other stuff. So any time of the year, people are busy. It's just, it does get quite busy in the seasons for sure. But yeah, we'll work with our clients. It might just take a little bit longer to get it going. Yeah. And you might not see it really benefiting yourself that year. Maybe you will, but you'll notice it in the heart of the heart season where you're just like, thank God I hired DJ Event Planner to take care of it and Perfect Portals to make it better. Yeah. So to be able to have that and hire somebody to do it for you, like DJP to manage your life, is a heck of a lot better than to do paper and pen and struggling it up. Like, oh my God, it's insane. So,
I can't imagine trying to run my DJ business without all the automation and stuff that we have in place.
Oh yeah, it's so much different than what it used to be.
I just can't. I can't even fathom what that would look like if I had to send out all those emails myself. Just kill me.
I forget all the time.
Or back in the day when we used to have to put a stamp on everything and send.
Oh, yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, I've been DJing for over 30 years, so yeah. There was a lot of that.
A lot of that.
For me, it was just before COVID, really. And then I thought, well, you know what? I'm gonna spend the time and learn this thing. That was my New Year's resolution. 2020 was going to be the year.
You had time to work on it.
COVID had another idea.
So
we got to working on Perfect Portals, I guess.
Yeah, and that worked out. Yeah. Worked out well.
Yeah.
Well, excellent. Did we cover? I think we covered everything, haven't we?
I think so. Yeah.
Yeah.
If not, again, reach out to us and we'll definitely help you out.
Yeah, we'll definitely.
We're here because we know that DJs need help with this stuff, and that's why we started this business.
Yeah. Excellent. Yeah, you've got some great fans that are in the chat there.
We have some awesome customers.
Yeah.
We love
them
them
have to
so
see
much.
that. Was that on YouTube?
There's some on YouTube, yep. And I think I couldn't tell which Facebook. There was a couple of popped up on a Facebook.
Yeah.
I can't.
Fair enough.
I don't know which channel it was, but you have to check those out. So, awesome. Karen, Keith, thank you much. Thank you for being sponsors with DJNTV also. We really appreciate you guys being behind us. And
we're happy to be here for you.
Yeah, we definitely appreciate that. Gang, we're going to wrap up our little exhibit time here. We were going to have Jay Brandon coming to us from Las Vegas. He's at the bar and restaurant, which used to be nightclub and bar. He was going to be giving us an update, but it's Vegas. And Jay finished setting up, and when you're in Vegas and you just finished setting up things, you probably got a little tied up. So we're going to shut this video off, and then we'll be back and at the top of the hour, so in about 45 minutes roughly, then we'll start our training part of tonight. So jump out to the DJNTV.com/chillroom. Go out to the chill room right now, and you guys can chat and hang out and be ready to go at 8 o'clock Eastern when we start our show tonight. Once again, Keith and Karen, thank you much for being with me.
Thanks, Don. Bye-bye.